Those destined for greatness must first walk alone in the desert. Winston Churchill. We live in a culture obsessed by achievement. The bright lights of television have left many of us with the obsession of making it. However, I think in the era of steroids, cheating scandals, Enron, and instant everything, we have lost an appreciation for the desert. According to studies done by Harvard, the greatest predictor of future success is the ability to delay gratification. Put another way, the greatest predictor of future success is the ability to traverse the desert. The desert is where you have to battle the demons in your head telling you you will never make it, you are a fraud, and everyone is going to find out. The desert is where it seems everyone is telling you to give up your dreams. The desert is where your failures are all anyone wants to talk about. The desert is where it seems you are crazy for pursuing the dream planted deep inside your heart. The desert is where you learn to fall in love with the journey, not the results. The desert is where you learn that failure is a learning tool and an inescapable part of becoming who you are destined to be. The desert is where you learn the greatest lessons come from failure, not success. The desert is where you learn to fall in love with the process of becoming great. The desert is where a lot of people turn their backs on you. The desert is where your true character is not only tested, but it is refined. The desert is where we learn to put first things first. The desert is where we learn people are so much more important than achievement. The desert is where we learn to trust in God more than people. No one can escape the desert. Some might be required to spend more time there than others, but much like the path to mastery, it applies to everyone. Even Jesus didn't avoid the desert. Before he stepped into his public ministry, he went to the desert and was tempted by the devil while fasting for 40 days. Derek Coleman won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks this year, but not after going undrafted and almost no one believing he could play in the NFL being deaf. In many ways, he is always in his desert. Michael Jordan went to his desert after being cut from his high school team. Peyton Manning went to his desert as he was overcoming 2 neck surgeries and having to learn a completely new way to throw a football. Steve Jobs went to his desert for more than 10 years after being fired from Apple until they finally begged him to come back and save the company he created. Walt Disney went to his desert after being fired from a local Kansas City newspaper and told he lacked creativity. I went through my desert after my time at Duke when I moved to LA and lived in a homeless shelter for 6 months, then the closet of a gym for 9 months, and then cut almost everything in my life out for 6 to 9 months to study and read like a med student. Some think you become great on the big stage under the bright lights, but the bright lights only reveal our work in the desert. Churchill was right. Those destined for greatness must first walk alone in the desert. Embrace your desert rather than run from it. Most will avoid it at all costs, but the few who embrace it will step into their greatness and change the world.